to answer. That is the promise of competence-based education and training. We are moving from an education system that asks, what do you remember? To one that asks, what can you do with what you know? That is what competence-based education and training is all about. And I am a very solid believer in competence-based education and training. I see it in our children. I see it in my own daughter, Mia, that she appreciates stuff better than I did when I was her age. And it is because of the kind of education that she is going through. This system is founded on access, equity, quality, and relevance, because a child in the city and one on the slopes of Mount Elgon must have an equal opportunity to discover their talent and compete with the best in the world. That is why, even in a difficult fiscal environment, we have made education a top budget priority. Since 2022, we have undertaken the largest teacher recruitment program in our country's history, hiring 100,000 teachers in 3 years and another 20,000 this year. We have also accelerated the expansion of classrooms, student hostels, laboratories, and other educational facilities across the country. Why? Because education is the most consequential form of empowerment and the most equalizing aspect of any human endeavor. Under the competence-based education, music, drama, sports, and arts are not marginal activities to be funded from whatever remains after everything else. They are recognized career pathways. You know very well that this was not the case. When I sat down with the Presidential Working Party to realign our education, and when we had very serious challenges, when parents were asking us questions about their transition, the transition of their children from one grade to another, where is junior school going to be? What is going to happen to senior school? I remember very well that the Presidential Working Party had robust conversation with me and my team. And we made the conscious decision that because our children are gifted differently, we must make it absolutely clear that all our children have a stake in Kenya's future, and no pathway was superior to the other. The children who are good in mathematics are as good as the children who are good in art, and all of them must be given an equal chance. And that is why, as we employ teachers, as we plan our budgets, we have made sure that going into the future, all pathways are funded sufficiently. Professor Ngala, the chair of this music festival, alluded earlier that this festival has been treated in the past as an extracurricular activity, and funding has not been predictable. I want to assure Professor Ngala that going forward, this festival, our children who are in the art and creative space will have a budget line like all other pathways going into the future. And that this music festival, the Festival on Drama and Film, will now, going into the future, be funded by the government of Kenya, because this is no longer extracurricular, this is squarely in the curricula of Kenya. And we are developing talent and future professionals from this pathway. Over the past few years, we have undertaken the hard work of building Kenya's creative economy. Our objective is simple: to make talent pay and create sustainable opportunities for those working in the sector. Today, I want to highlight areas in which we have made progress and indicate what comes next. First, I directed that music royalties be collected and distributed through the eCitizen digital platform because our artists deserve a system that is transparent, that is accountable, and that works for them. In the past, collection of royalties was a game of guesswork. It was shrouded in mystery. It was opaque, and artists could not follow where their royalties were. Today, on the digital platform, they can follow. It is transparent, and we have made sure that at the very least 70% of the revenues raised go to the artists themselves. My office, the Kenya Copyright Board, eCitizen, and industry stakeholders have implemented the system. Royalties are now being collected through eCitizen, with 70% protected for distribution to artists and other copyright owners. We committed to move beyond merely celebrating our artists to ensuring that they are paid. To advance this commitment, the Copyright Bill and the Creative Economy Bill are now before Parliament. I urge members of Parliament who are here and their colleagues who are not here to consider the bills that we have submitted to Parliament. And I want to thank my good friend Dan, who is the chair of Sports in Parliament, for sponsoring these bills. Thank you very much, Dan. To strengthen the protection of our creatives and accelerate the formalization of the creative economy. Let me explain a bit what the Copyright Amendment Bill is going to do. I had a meeting with artists, and many artists, because of the nature of the law, were exploited by people who come from outside Kenya. Their work, their talent was used elsewhere, and they did not get the money for which they had worked hard for. We are now changing the bill so that it is not possible for anybody to extort from our Kenyan artists, and that the law of Kenya becomes final on the remuneration and the money that is due to our artists. I want to commend the artists who brought this up to me, and I want to assure you that working with Parliament, we will protect your work, we will protect your talent, and you will earn from your talent. The second issue why we are changing the law on the creative economy is because the creative economy has operated as an informal sector for a long time. We are now making it formalized because in any case, it's now a clear pathway in our education system. We expect professionals to emerge from this field. We expect business people, producers, songwriters, and many other professionals from this space. And therefore, legislation must provide for them to operate in a space where their rights is guaranteed by law. Thirdly, during the last Kenya Drama Festival state concert, we launched Summer Play, a Ministry of Education platform that brings education and entertainment together. This year's Kenya Music Festival has been streamed on Summer Play, enabling parents, teachers, and Kenyans everywhere to watch our young people perform. We will expand the platform to include drama, sport, educational material, and safe entertainment for our children, while creating new opportunities for Kenyan creatives to earn more income. We have already worked with Meta to open Facebook monetization to Kenyan creators. Summer Play provides another avenue through which their talent can reach audiences and generate income. Number 4, as the performances on this stage have demonstrated, Kenya does not lack talent. Our challenge is to discover and to develop. The government of Kenya, therefore, working with the private sector, will establish the Kenya National Talent Search to identify talent and innovation in music, comedy, acting, poetry, film, dance, sports, and other fields throughout the year in every part of Kenya. The State Department for Youth, working in collaboration with the Creative Economy Office and with the support of Sports Fund, must now move with urgency to roll out the program without further delay. The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who coordinates between the national government and the counties, will ensure that this receives the full support and coordination of government at both levels. To align the national talent search with our most urgent national priority, I propose that its inaugural theme be Kenya Beyond 2030. We want to listen to the youth. We want to know what they think about Kenya Beyond 2030. Beginning next year, school creative events shall also carry this theme. Let our young people use their creativity to imagine Kenya's future development. I look forward to personally recognizing winners of the National Talent at the Kalasha International Film and TV Awards. There is one group of young Kenyans we must recognize: our Kenyan scientists and innovators. I say so because as a scientist myself, I see what they do, the innovation that they have brought. In fact, I did receive some who had participated in a global event in China and became #1. The same way we recognize the talent in music, in drama, I think it is time that we brought our scientists and innovators on board, because they make a huge contribution to the future of our nation. Our schools have held the annual Science and Innovation Competition since 1962, yet the winners have never been given a chance like the one we have here today. That is going to change. Effective next year, the Ministry of Education must bring the winners of the annual Kenya Science and Engineering Fair to an event, a state event like the one we have here for music and all the others. I want to meet them, see what they have built, and hear their ideas. Above all, I want them to know that their country believes in them and also values them. Ladies and gentlemen, thousands of performers have come to Bungoma from every part of our republic, bringing different languages, costumes, and traditions. Yet, standing together, they are unmistakably Kenyan. I have seen from northern Kenya in Wajir, from Isiolo, from all the way in the Coast Province, in Taita Taveta, from Kilifi, and all the other parts of Kenya, from Siaya. I saw from Nandi County, seen from Turkana County. Seeing them here in Bungoma is very heartwarming, that these young people are discovering the corners of their country. And when I was asked by my young interviewer there why this event was in Bungoma and not in Nairobi, the reason is simple, that we are one nation. Bungoma is as good as Nairobi. Wajir is as central as Kisumu. And we must believe in ourselves and believe in our country. And there is no better way for us to do this than for our children to lead the way. For them to know there is Kenya beyond their neighborhoods. There is Kenya beyond their family. There is Kenya beyond their community. And there is Kenya beyond their village. That is how we weave the country into our diverse communities, cultures, traditions, but weave it into one strong, united, and prosperous nation. How better to begin that journey than to do what we are doing here in Bungoma today. So to all our children, from wherever you have come from, this is your home. This is part of your village here in Bungoma. It doesn't matter how far you've come from. When you are in Bungoma, you are at home. I say so on behalf of the governor of Bungoma and all the leaders here and all the citizens of the people of Bungoma. And that is why the President of Kenya also has a home here, because this is Kenya. And listening to all our young people and the music and the culture, I am reminded that music and culture is a very powerful tool. It tells us where we've come from, reminds us that we belong to one another, and gives us the confidence to meet the world without losing ourselves. I thank the organizing committee, adjudicators, teachers, and parents. Above all, I congratulate the performers. Winning is gratifying, but the deep victory lies in finding the courage to step onto the stage and make your voice heard. The CS for Education has informed us about the reforms that we are undertaking in the education space. I am very, very proud of the steps